Hello again and welcome to Pearl Magazine. The spring art season is well underway with numerous special exhibitions, auctions, and fairs. Zela visits one of the most prominent fairs, Art Basel, to find out what's new in the contemporary art world.
Graffiti on red, white, and blue fabric, a throwback to old Hong Kong. A forest of trees suspended in midair. Sculptures made with everyday items like colored paper and old car parks by a Japanese artist. And lots of art lovers at Art Basel. This PhD student from Bosnia is visiting the exhibition for the first time.
It is much bigger than I expected, very busy, but I must say I'm really impressed. Some of the artwork has left me speechless.
I like it. I mean, I see a lot of vibrant art this year, like a lot of different art from like Japan, Korea, Thailand.
A longtime Hong Kong resident, Jiang Su Meng, is a regular at this art fair.
I definitely feel like there's more people, and so it's really nice to enjoy the atmosphere as well.
Art Basel is the creme de la creme of art fairs. The works of art are always high quality. But more importantly, it's exciting to see the return of overseas visitors from as far away as US, Europe, and even Nigeria.
The fair director and Zhao Xian Le was thrilled to receive international visitors again, following 3 years of border restrictions.
The most exciting thing this year is obviously welcoming back all the galleries in person, and now we can finally welcome the visitors from abroad back to Hong Kong. It's all very emotional for us, like living in Hong Kong.
The fair had 86,000 visits across 5 days, and it hosted 177 booths from galleries around the world. This is the largest edition since 2019.
One can still hold our traditional and cultural references.
This is Dolly Kolabologong's first time exhibiting at this fair. She founded a gallery based in Abuja, Nigeria.
For most African countries, 54 of them, China happens to be the largest economic trading partner. So there are a lot of economic and diplomatic exchanges, but cultural exchange is one that is still missing. So I thought that this would be an opportunity for us to highlight our similarities, and in doing so, pave the way forward for more participation from the continent and the region.
The gallery represents African art from the diaspora, which includes works from the continent and works by Afro-Latino and African-American artists. She's presenting a solo show by Victor Ehikomeno called Always at the Edge.
Victor is one of Nigeria's foremost contemporary artists. Always at the Edge as a theme was taken by Lumping Kwan's poetry Images of Hong Kong, which is a famous literary figure from Hong Kong. And Victor being a writer as well as an artist, I thought would be ideal to outline the cultural links and possibilities between Hong Kong and Nigeria.
Both Victor and Leung explore themes of traditions disappearing. Some of Victor's works reference the ancient kingdom of Benin, which is in modern-day Nigeria.
What is it? It's an egg.
It's an egg.
Yeah.
It's an egg made out of bronze. And as you can imagine, Benin is very well known for bronze sculpture making. So this is Victor's contemporary take on Benin sculpture tradition. An egg is the source of humanity.
So what do all these circles mean?
So this is actually Victor's signature to Africa, and Zebedi was an ancient form of writing for us, and that was an inspiration for his pattern he then later developed into his own style.
The works cost $45,000 US to $190,000 US, and she sold 4 art pieces. Dolly is pleased with the reception of Victor's art.
The response has been phenomenal, generally. It's a lot of curiosity, a lot of interest, because we're presenting something new. I was initially slightly daunted and concerned about whether or not it will be well received, but I think that in coming and in braving uncharted waters, it's definitely something worth doing again, so I'll definitely be back next year.
This is one of 22 new galleries at the fair. New to the art world recently are NFTs, a type of digital art. Art Basel had a partnership last year to showcase NFTs, but had less visibility this time.
NFT is really suffering this year, and so far I think, yes, as a medium, it's not fully mature yet.
Shelley Wu is the artistic director of a Taipei-based gallery. It has been exhibiting at the fair since the beginning in 2013.
Art Basel is the most important fair organizer worldwide for art, and it has its history. So for us, it is very meaningful to be in Art Basel because we are presenting the best of the best, right? So at the best fair, and we are selected as some of the top galleries.
The gallery promotes artists from across the Asia region.
Yeah, it's actually 2 pairs of shells. And the artist is Xiaowei Cai. She was born in the 1980s. And actually, this work itself is called an aspiration.
He's written prayers on here.
Yes, actually, it's from the Buddhist text. It's actually the Heart Sutra. At different phases of her life, she felt like, it gave her actually comfort. It's very comforting, and also for her, it's like a guidance. And so it became the core of her kind of like spiritual practice and also her artistic practice.
A local collector bought these seashells for $12,000. Shelley was surprised that 80% of the works at the booth were sold on the first day.
I thought it would probably take some time since it's been 3 years that we haven't really be back like physically, that it might take some time to warm up the scene and everything, but oh my God, I mean the attendance rate and the sales rate is incredible.
Shelley hadn't been attending the fair in person because of the COVID-19 border restrictions, but the gallery was able to set up a booth the last 2 years and hire local assistants to introduce the artwork. And serious buyers would video conference with Shelley to finalize the purchase. She was eager to participate at fairs in person again.
Although our results were not bad without us on site, but I feel like I really need to be here. I really need to be present in a way to really get that vibe and energy back, and proven it was right, rather than like doing everything like over my laptop.
This painting, of course, is the northwest desert area of China.
Johnson Chang also returned to the fair. He is widely credited for kickstarting international attention in contemporary Chinese artwork, and the booth reflects his latest interests.
One of my primary interests has been reconnecting with the past. So the major aesthetic production in Chinese history has been calligraphy and landscape, sanshui. So my selection of artists are modern permutations and contemporary interpretations that aesthetically links with the past.
This calligraphy is by Wang Dongling.
This is actually very classical running script, except that he's pushed it a little bit further by overlapping the words. He calls it 乱书, and I think it should be translated as entangled calligraphy. 乱 as a weaving that is got mixed up. And of course, running script, the lines actually run continuously.
So as a whole piece, does it say anything, or is it just, to me, it's like very beautiful script?
It is actually a classical poem. Visually, it is almost impossible to read, even if you know running script.
The art pieces cost $40,000 to $500,000. He sold 6. Johnson missed last year's fair because he was traveling, but he made sure to put this year's show on his calendar.
I have to be here this year because all these collectors, all my museum friends, all my curator friends, they're all showing up. And I missed this occasion. I'll kick myself.
Several auction houses and galleries expanded in the city this year, and Johnson is considering a space in downtown SAR as well.
Thinking of the possibility of perhaps a space by appointment, and a space where we actually would have a more of a discursive site that can bring in talks and conversations, and a site which can be also used for a curatorial experiment.
Beijing imposed a national security law on the city in 2020. Did that affect the art fair?
So far, we have operated the fairs as normal as before. We haven't really changed our process since 2013, the first when we landed in Asia. And the selection process has been the same as our other 3 shows. So far, we are not impacted.
The fair director has high hopes for Hong Kong's art scene the rest of the year.
With the strong starts in March this year, we are very confident with, bringing the Hong Kong contemporary art scene back to its international level, with the visitors coming from around the world just this week. We also think that Hong Kong continuously will become will be the cultural hub in Asia, with its geographic, advantage being in the heart of Asia, as well as being the financial center with tax-free status. The domestic market in Hong Kong is already very strong, with a very strong collector base. So moving forward, we are committed to Hong Kong as the fair, as an art fair, and also we would like to push contemporary art to the next level of success in this region.
After the break, ding ding, moving forward on Hong Kong's oldest public transport. Stay with us. Welcome back to Pearl Magazine. At 119 years old, Hong Kong's double-decker tram is one of the oldest public tram systems in the world. Nicknamed the Ding Ding, the iconic tram isn't just part of the city's cultural heritage. It remains part of people's daily life. I spoke with Hong Kong Tramways' Paul Trivati to find out how they keep it rolling on. Wow, this is a beautiful tram.
Exactly. This is our most beautiful tram, our most premium tram, actually.
Yeah, it looks it. I mean, the materials, everything.
Yeah, we had the support of a designer to really design this tram. This is a really good quality leather. And this actually is made of recycled advertising panels. Like when they remove the advertising paper from the trams, this has been, let's say, compressed, packed, and recycled to make it this material. So it is 100% sustainable and reused from a tram waste.
Yes, that's interesting. I know that Tramways has always been very sustainable-minded in recycling materials.
Exactly. We try to limit our impact on the environment and try to make a proper use of every part and to use them as long as possible.
Kept a lot of details from the old style trams, like the wood paneling, even the windows and everything.
Yes, exactly. This is the design and details of the old style trams resynced in a modern way and with a lot of craftsmanship. Actually, we try to take the best types of parts to make it really premium.
So I'm guessing in the last 3 years, maybe the party tram wasn't booked out as often as it had been in the previous years. Are you expecting more bookings this year?
We resumed normal operations a few weeks ago, and people are actually really enthusiastic about the party trams. Most of them are booked several weeks in advance, and actually the tram hire statistics and figures are even better than pre-COVID. We can really feel that Hong Kongers are really happy to celebrate and to have a tram party with friends or with relatives or with colleagues to enjoy this new life without COVID and without masks.
Hong Kong Tramways is, 119 years old. How many passengers does it service in a day, would you say?
We still don't observe many tourists coming to Hong Kong, even if the trend is increasing. So it means that we serve every day 140,000 Hong Kongers, and so we are still a really popular means of transportation. Pre-COVID, we were slightly above 160,000 passengers.
Is this the oldest and largest green public transport tram system in the world?
It is one of the oldest in the world, but in fact it is the oldest public transport in Hong Kong. Because back in 1904, when we were established, it was the only public transport. And at that time it was already electric, which is really significant, and not relying on any coal or fuel, different types of fuel. So yes, it is the first example of a clean public transport in the history of Hong Kong, and one of the first in the world.
Right, and I noticed that, it still maintains that look from the early 1900s. But how has technology been used to modernize the system?
We are working on a new digital system called the Smart Ding Ding, and the goal is to have a precise monitoring of the location and speed of our trams from the control center, to be in capacity to really optimize the rides of the tram on the line and to offer a better service to our passengers. Compared with other tram lines in the world, is that we only have 30% of dedicated track for the tram. The rest, the remaining 70%, are shared with buses, with private cars, with taxis. So trams can be really stuck in the traffic jams and suffer from congestion. So the system really will monitor in real time the location and speed of the trams to be able to optimize thanks to an AI, artificial intelligence algorithm.
Are you still taking cash? I can't remember. You do octopus and cash right now. Is that going to be changed?
We will accept from this summer onwards credit cards like Visa or MasterCard, and QR code like Alipay or UnionPay. So this way we will have a whole batch of payment solutions for our clients, and especially for tourists. It will be really useful to be in capacity to pay with credit cards or QR codes.
Tramways also does free tram rides. How did this start, and how often do you have them these days?
As a company, you can offer a free ride days in the tram for all the Hong Kongers, which is really interesting from a company point of view. First, in terms of corporate and social responsibility, of CSR, in terms of marketing and brand exposure, with a quite good value for money for the company. So the feedbacks are really positive. Last year we had 11 free ride days, and some companies are coming back to us to renew the experience. But for slightly more than 1 million Hong Kong dollars, you can have a significant outreach. And actually the proof that it works is that the companies are coming back to us. So I think they must have measured the impact of this campaign.
I suppose this helps fund the maintenance and modernization of the tram system. Can you tell me more about this part of the business? And it seems to be a very sustainable company.
Every year we keep building new trams, and at the moment we have been replacing for 10 years the old wooden trams by new aluminum trams with a new aluminum structure, and also with new engines which consume 30% less electricity than the old ones.
And are you also reusing the parts from the old trams, like whether it's the wood or the seats? Do those get recycled or reused?
We use almost 50% of the old wooden trams, of the parts, in the new trams. For example, some electronic systems, we reuse this kind of parts, provided of course that they are in a good condition, this wooden structure, and we will send it for recycling. But first we try to reuse, then we try to recycle, and then we lower the quantity of final waste.
I noticed that your trams still have that wheel in the front, and I mean, they still seem to retain some really old elements. Are these all taken from old trams and put into the new trams, including, I guess, the metal wheels?
There are some spare parts or some components that no industry and no supplier produces at the moment. So we have to also try to keep these old components, as you described, to reuse them in our trams, because it's sometimes really difficult to find suppliers to produce these customized parts for us.
You mentioned that the trams are built here in Hong Kong. So they're built in your depot and you have your own mechanics?
I think that we must be one of the last remaining industries on Hong Kong Island, actually, and we have in our workshop, we have a team, engineering team and artisans building the tram from scratch. They are buying the parts, the components, let's say the beams, aluminum beams, and assembling the trams in our workshop, which requires a lot of different skills. We have mechanical fitters, mechanical engineers, electrical engineers and technicians. We have plumbers too, carpenters, so many different types of jobs and skills. And most of them are really experts in their fields, and they are also tram experts. So we really rely on them and on their expertise to keep maintaining the tram.
It seems like such a specific expertise. Is there anything you're doing to make sure that, you know, in the future there are still people who are able to do this kind of specific work for the trams?
This is a real challenge and a daily challenge for us. Some of our workforce have been working for more than 30 years in the company, so they know the tram very well. And one of our goals is to make sure that they teach their knowledge and their skills to the new joiners, so that the new joiners can also be able to maintain and these trams. Maintaining a tram every day is like being part of Hong Kong, and our employees are really proud of doing this and really proud of being part of the company. And our goal as the management of the company is to take care of them and to make sure that they can work in the best conditions possible. That's why, for example, we have increased the salaries by almost 15% in the past 18 months to make sure that we keep this expertise and this knowledge in the company.
Are you ranked as a heritage company?
We present ourselves as a heritage company, and this is one of the axes and one of the ways we promote tramways. We are not only heritage, we like, of course, and we are proud of being part of the Hong Kong heritage, but we also are proud of being part of the daily life of Hong Kongers and to provide Hong Kongers with a service and a performance transport service every day, and we really hope and work to keep doing this in the future. So we are both heritage of Hong Kong and also part of the present and the daily life of Hong Kong.
That's our show for this week. Join us on Pearl Magazine, same time next week. Bye for now.